welcome to Soul Symbols. My name is Shelly. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. Happy Tuesday. It is How to Tarot Tuesday, and what that is it's a weekly video post that I post here on my channel where we go over one of the 78 card tarot. The first half of the video, we go over the meanings of the card in question, and then the second half of the video is a pick a deck where you, the viewer, choose which deck you want, and we'll go ahead and see how that card is currently manifesting in your life. It does not need to be the week that the video posts in order for the messages to resonate. If you're drawn to this video at any time, also, if you want to skip the how-to part and go straight to the reading, the timestamps are listed in the description box, as are the names and the authors of the decks that I use. Now, today we are talking about a really wonderful card. It's a really happy card, one that everybody always looks forward to. Today we are talking about the Two of Cups. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to reiterate that I am so grateful. I have reached a milestone with my channel. We have exceeded 100 subscribers, and thank you. I am so very grateful for every single one of you for watching, for following, for subscribing. When I started my channel, I had the intent of it just having a real organic growth. I did not want it to be huge, but I have such gratitude for the folks who visit my channel and who follow. And I did want to kind of do something special for the 100th subscriber, but so this week we actually have quite a bit of content that is being posted. Normally I have 2 videos per week. On Tuesday I do the How to Tarot, and then on Saturday I do the weekly energy card reading. This week you're going to actually have 4 posts. On Monday, is it 4 or 5? No, 4 posts. Sorry, I had to keep track. Monday is National Playing Cards Day, so I'm gonna post a video that's gonna be a deck review of all of my playing and game card decks. So that's gonna be tomorrow. I'm sorry, that was yesterday. And then today is the How to Tarot. I posted on Sunday. Here we go. This is the 4th one. I was originally going to post this review on Wednesday, but I decided to move it up a little bit because I thought, why not, post it early when people can watch it. But I did do a flip through of a new tarot deck called the Tarot of the Divine, which is a really gorgeous deck. It's based on fairy tale and folklore from around the world. It's very diverse. It's a beautiful deck, and that is posted here under my deck review playlist. And then this Saturday we are going to also do the weekly energy card reading. So I do hope that you don't mind that I'm using that as my thank you for following, for us reaching the milestone of 100 subscribers. I'm so excited. You have no idea. I was really thrilled. I honestly didn't think that we would hit the 100 mark before the end of the year, but we not only hit it, we exceeded it. So I'm just again, thank you, and we'll go ahead and get into the reading. Now, the reading, anytime I had a tarot, I always clarify using oracle cards, and I use 3 decks. The first deck is always the Rider-Waite-Smith, and the second 2 decks are the 2 other tarot that I choose based on the imagery. I choose 2 other decks that I think best represent the card in question. Now, since today is a special day, and since we're celebrating 100 subscribers, I decided to go ahead and do, I thought, since it's the Two of Cups, and it's kind of like, it's like a echo of the Lovers, it's such a good juju deck, such a good juju card, that I decided to go ahead and pull out 2 decks to clarify it. So we're going to be clarifying using the Romance Angels, which is an out-of-print deck, and when we get to the deck descriptions, I'll talk about that some more. And then we're also going to clarify using the Messages from the Divine Masculine, which is a personal deck created by another YouTube reader, and again, all of the names and the authors are in the description box. But let's go ahead and get started with the how-to. So today we are talking about a great card. This is such a wonderful card. So the Two of Cups, what you see is you see a man and a woman, And around at the top of the card, first off, you see a very blue sky, and then you see what looks like a figurehead of a lion with wings looking over at the connection. The woman on the left is wearing, she's wearing a crown of laurel leaves, which usually means victory. And then she's got kind of a pinafore over her dress, so it's a very simple dress. What I also like to notice is she is wearing red shoes, and you know, the feet representing Pisces. It's almost like an expression of your vulnerability, you know. So, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The man on the other side has like poppies in as a crown of poppies, which usually reads, you know, as passion. Poppies can be seen as a warrior, but you know, in this, it also looks like a victor's crown, but you know, with strength and passion and love. And then he also is wearing a tunic, and the scene is very natural. You see rolling fields and blue skies, and you see that they have two cups that are equal. And the man is reaching out and touching the woman's cup. And in between the cup, you have something that looks like a crustaceous. It's the melding of the two snakes. And it's very much a mercurial symbol, and we'll be talking about that in a minute. But basically, you see two people who are gazing lovingly at one another and are both holding up a cup that represents emotion, very level to one another. So when you look at the Two of Cups, it's, you know, the very first thing that you think of is you think of connection, right? Cups mean water, it means emotion, it means hearts. And, you know, when you're holding up a cup, and especially when it's level with someone else, it's like you're not guarding that cup, you're not protecting it, you're openly giving or handing that cup to someone else. And it's an equal measure, right? The intertwined snakes is really a sign of, there is a mercurial symbol. You know, the god Mercury carried a staff that had the intertwined snakes. And it kind of indicates a balance between the two people, right? Equal love, equal appreciation, feeling the same way. You know, reciprocal love. The other thing that I kind of see is with that symbol, it also kind of means understanding one another. And it's almost like, I think of when I see the two intertwined snakes, I kind of think of speaking the same love language, or at least understanding each other's love language. Right? So first and foremost, the Two of Cups means connection. It means joining with another person, you know, beginning a friendship. It's sharing, it's warmth and attraction. Not 99% of the time, it's the beginnings of a romantic or harmonious relationship. And you know, so it definitely means like a happy new start. Just like the ace, we talked about the ace last week, about how it feels like a springboard, like you feel a connection to someone. Here, it's like that connection growing, right? I do see the Two of Cups as being kind of like the yin and yang symbol. Because again, when you see the red in her shoes, you know, the red, with the feet is ruled by Pisces, and that usually means, you know, someone's vulnerability. So, and then you see that this person has a crown of poppy, you know, flowers, and that it just means that this person, the male, is very masculine, right? And the feminine is really open. She feels passion igniting, and she's not afraid to be vulnerable, right? Because the color red is about lifeblood, and it's about action and passion. But it definitely talks just about a mutual exchange. It's two people really understanding one another. It's interesting, the tunic and honestly the crown that she wears, the crown of laurel wreaths, really talks about victory. Like you see that in the Six of Wands. So she feels like lucky, right? Like this, the woman feels like she won, right? She feels, the other thing that you get is with the man reaching out and touching her cup. It is him it's him initiating, right? And that's also where you kind of think of a yin and yang symbol. Yang energy is initiation, it's taking action, and then yin is receptive. right? It's yang is the more masculine, and the yin is the more receptive, the feminine, the receiving. And when you look at a yin and yang symbol, it looks like two teardrops that are, it looks like a rolling wheel with two teardrops, you know, kind of revolving into one another. But one thing that you notice is that there's kind of a dot in each. So what it is like one, you know, a woman can be real feminine, but she has a touch of masculinity in her. A man can be very masculine, but he has a touch of femininity in him. And what I see when I see the Two of Cups is I really think of that symbol, but I think of a piece of her is in him and a piece of him is in her, right? The other thing that I see is I do see this in marriages a lot, you know, or especially in this card because it's a minor. It's really like the indication that this would probably lead to marriage. This is a really good start. You see two people who are really on the same level. They understand one another. But I also see it as like a balance where have you ever seen where, like, I know couples who, one couple, you would look at the man and think, oh, he's so social, he's never picky about the details, and then you look at his wife and she's the list maker and she makes sure everything gets checked off. But then the roles switch, right? He has a little bit of that organization in him, and she has a little bit of that, let go with the flow in her. And it's almost like they learn it from each other, right? They learn it from each other. Another thing that I really get with this is that it's about working together. Again, this is a card about not being afraid to show your vulnerability to someone else. The other thing is that I really see it in those kind of marriages that are very communicative. Again, with the symbol of Mercury, they know how to speak each other's language. They know how to understand each other. The other thing I get is they kind of defend each other's emotions. They protect what's theirs. So it is almost like you're in your own little bubble. But one thing that I definitely get with these two people, and especially with him reaching out and touching the cup, is that, there's initiation and connection, but it is working together. Right? It's working together. I also think of that communication as being that everyday communication when you say, hey, honey, the garbage disposal's broken. Would you mind fixing it? Okay, babe, I'll take care of it. Don't worry. It's almost like being there for each other and knowing that you can rely on one another. Now, one other thing about this picture, and maybe it's because I'm a Jane Austen nut, but I love her little blue pinafore, like it's like an apron. It's very different. But one thing I kind of think of is if you've ever seen the BBC version of Sense and Sensibility, Eleanor Dashwood, she's always like kind of working in the kitchen and she's got her apron on. And one thing that I think of is I do think of it as being a love connection where the man reaches out to the woman. And there's this great scene at the end of the Sense and Sensibility movie where Edward Ferrars actually comes and admits his love to Eleanor, and it's really cute. She's wearing the apron, and she's she has to take the apron off when she but he initiates. He comes to her, and what it is it's mutual love. It's like him taking action to affirm the mutual love for one another. It's like, okay, I love you. Do you love me back? And she definitely immediately reciprocates that love, says that she loves him back. So it's almost like it can also be that moment. It can be an indicator that that moment's coming, or that somebody does want to profess their love. So when you do see this in the read, another reason that it's such a wonderful card to get is because it could be the first time that someone says, I love you. Again, it's not the Ace of Cups, it's the Two of Cups. So you're moving, you're progressing along the track. It's not like you're still in the springboard energy. You're actually further along than that. Now, in a more kind of neutral sense, it can be the spark of a really strong friendship. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. 90% of the time it is, but a lot of times I always think of that line from the book Anne of Green Gables, when Anne and Diana, who is her neighbor and her like best friend, she always calls her kindred spirit, right? She says we're like two flames, you're my kindred spirit. And that's really what this can be as well. It can be the sign of just a really, really strong friendship. It can be between a man and a woman. It can be between two girlfriends, between two guy pals. It doesn't have to be, completely, male, female, but it is also it's about sharing and giving a helping hand. So a lot of times, if you have that one friend that you really lean on, it can be that person is cooperating, they're helping you, and again, that you found your bestie, right? A lot of times it can be your bestie. A lot of times it can mean the end of hostilities, like maybe if you've had no contact with someone. Also, if you see it come up after like a fight, it can be a sign that the fight is over, that there's gonna be like a makeup. Like someone's going to say sorry, or someone, and you're going to be able to share your cups with one another again. Now, the second card is from the Linestrider Tarot by Siolo Thompson, and I thought this was really beautiful. There's a lot of balanced energy. You see two hummingbirds, and hummingbirds are very monogamous. And then it's really beautiful. If you look down the card, it's very symmetrical, like it's even on either side, and there's a cup right in the middle. But what I think is gorgeous is that the two heads are together, but and you see like kind of a little intertwined heart there, which is that same, intertwined snakes, like the same communication. It's almost like you're of the same mind. But one thing is, if you look close to the card, on the right hand side, these two cats look identical. Like they look like they're meant to be together. But if you look closely, he is leaning in a little bit more. Like if you drew a line straight down the center of this card, it would not be even. And you can see that they look the same, but the right hand side, which is similar to the masculine being on the right and the Rider-Waite-Smith, the right hand side of it is the masculine, because he has that little bit of a bigger face and a stronger jaw, and the left is the feminine. So I see this card when I use this deck. Have you ever met couples, like if you have a single friend who's been single for a long time, and then they meet someone, and then they bring the person over to meet them, and when you look at your friend and their boyfriend or girlfriend side by side, you're like, oh my God, they're not related to one another. They're of different families, but they look like they belong together. Right? Like, I have a really good friend who got engaged and married in the last year, very social distance friendly. It was just them and the pastor. I think everyone wore masks. But when I see them side by side, they look like a married couple. Like their kids are just going to be, you know what I mean? They don't have kids yet, but when you see them side by side, you're like, oh my God, that is so your match, right? So a lot of times this Two of Cups really says that to me. Like, you've met your counterpart, you've met them, and the other thing is, I always get so stupid excited when I have a friend or a family member, and actually my cousin got engaged over Christmas, and I'm so happy for her, because I saw it coming a mile off, because her and her boyfriend are just so adorable. They were definitely meant for one another. But when you see them side by side, they look alike, right? They're not related, but they look alike. They look like their counterparts. They look like they were, destined to be together, right? And now, just to throw it out there, one other thing that I kind of see, so again, it means that happy union, that emotional equilibrium, the two persons that were just meant to be together. It can be a commitment to one another. Again, it can be two really good friends. But also, one other thing is, when this card in particular comes out, because they're two animals, they're two cats. And let me just say, the Linestrider deck, I think I love all their emotional pairings. Like the Six of Cups, I love. The Two of Cups, I love. And Lovers. you know, but I just thought this was so cute the way she did it, because it is off center. He's it's almost like, you know, he is pushing the male is pushing forward on the female, and she's meeting him, but you know, it's not completely centered. So just like this man reaching out to touch the cup, right? Also, just to throw it out there, and I'm sorry I have to touch on that, pun intended. In a sexual sense, because this can definitely be, if you see this around wands, it's like, ooh, this is some hot lovin'. Just to put it out there, we're going to get mature. These videos are not made for under 18 anyway, but so this can be the man reaching out to, first off, this can be a declaration of love. Like, this can be someone communicating in a loving way. It can be a Valentine, it can be a letter. If you see this next to swords, it can be some kind of communication that is reaching out and expressing love. But the other thing that it can mean is when it is a man reaching out to touch a woman's cup, it can be sexual in that sense too, because a cup can be reproductive organs of a woman. So just to throw it out there, you draw the lines. I'm not going to get real, you know, I'm not going to get explicit on the channel, but I kind of get that with this too, is that and you see it in all the cards of the tarot. When you look at the lovers, you know, the divine masculine on the right hand side, he's the one who's standing next to the burning bush. So if you get my meaning, and she is wearing red shoes, so you know. The other thing that you kind of see is in this deck, you look at the masculine's lips, and they look a little bit red. So when you think about that, you know, when blood flows to certain areas of the body. So, but it can mean that. So just to put it out there. But I think that's so cute, the way that the one head's leaning in more. It's almost like it's doing a real loving little headbutt. But it can be, you know, it can be a sign of feeling amorous. And but it is but it's not anything. She's receptive, right? He's raring to go. Just he's slightly more raring to go than she is, but she's being coy but receiving his advances. So it is mutual love. It is mutual love, but it's definitely what it does is it helps differentiate the masculine from the feminine in this context. But it's definitely, it can be a sign of professing commitment to someone. Or it can be the stages of commitment as well. Again, you're speaking each other's love language. You know, maybe someone is doing acts of service, or, you know, someone unloads the dishwasher for you when you don't, you know, you don't like to unload the dishwasher, and they do it for you because they know it's a sign, it's doing something for you. It can be them taking your car to get an oil change because you don't have time to. It can be that, you know, bringing you a cup of coffee in the morning. These little actions can be someone showing love to you. And the other thing is, maybe you do the same thing in return, and it's reciprocity, right? But and definitely with the man leaning in, it can also be one of the big things is that if you see this in like an action or like a circumstance, it could be someone, you're at a point in a relationship where someone says, I love you, and you say, I love you back. Right? And that's a huge step. That's such a huge step, you know, in the course of somebody's relationship. But again, oh, one other thing is with this second deck, with it being two animals, and I know this sounds kind of dorky, but it's so true. Just like this can be a, if you see this in a work context, when it comes out next to Pentacles or something, it can be a happy merger. Like maybe two companies are merging, and it's very amicable, it's very peaceful, it's almost like a loving, you know. It can also be the sign of, you know, maybe it's Valentine's Day and you exchange gifts. It can be a very happy exchange between you and another person. So it can be between you and a mother or father, you know, mother and child, but usually it is more masculine, feminine. Now, the other thing that we kind of get with this is that it can be, again, we said that it can be a makeup, like maybe there was some kind of argument. If this is a future prediction, if you're afraid that something, like maybe you argued with someone, you're like, okay, are we going to get over this? Is everything going to be okay? This is a big yes. It's going to be like, it's almost like saying, I'm sorry I acted that way. You know, it's like understanding each other's feelings. The other thing is that it can be a sign, if you do see this after a conflict card, it can be a sign that maybe you did have a disagreement, but you talked it out, like you fought fair, right? You heard the other person out and they heard you out, and you came to a peaceful resolution. Now, when I see the Two of Cups here with the Linestrider, because it's two animals, one other thing it can be, and especially if you see it near either the Queen of Pentacles or the King of Pentacles, the Queen, well, it can be the Queen of Wands as well, because I can't tell you how many fire people that I know that have like 20 million cats and dogs. They have such a big heart. Like Leo women, they have a big heart. So do Aries women, but Sagittarians too. Sagittarians are pretty humanitarian. Also, if you know an Aquarius, they like to take in homeless animals a lot. But one other thing is, what is it? Pentacles. It seems like the Queen of Pentacles, because she has in her card, she has a rabbit at her feet, and then what is it? The Queen of Wands also, she has a cat. So one thing that I think of is that, you know, kindred spirits doesn't necessarily have to be a person. It can be a person and an animal. And just like I said earlier, and I mean no disrespect, I think it's really cute. Have you ever met those people who have a pet that looks just like them? And just like the love that you can have for another person, there are people who are absolutely like, and believe me, I had a dog, I had a Cocker Spaniel who was my world. He was such a good-natured dog. And I think all of us, I think just about everyone's had one pet. It doesn't have to be a dog. It could be a cat. It could be a gerbil, a guinea pig, you know, a parrot, you know, that was just the sweetest temperament, and it was your favorite animal in the world. But I do see the Two of Cups as that being kind of that kindred spirit. It can be a connection with a pet. But I do also sometimes depending on the surrounding cards, you can see it as, have you ever seen those pictures of people who take photographs with their dog and they look like their dog or their cat? And, you know, oh my gosh, there's some adorable pictures. I'll post a few just so you can get a context, but it's so funny. It's cute to see, but you can tell this dog is your best friend, right? It was like your best friend, and your mutual, your kindred spirit, right? But just like people can look like one another, you know, don't rule out pets. Pets can be soulmates as well. So it can be, this is on that note. The third deck that I went with was the Slow Tarot by Lacey Bryant. And what you see is you see a bunch of white roses, which really means something new, and it also means purity. But this is really great. You see a guy who's really dressed up, but it's so cool. He's got tattoos, and I think he has a tattoo of a dragonfly on his neck, which I think is badass. He also has tattoos on his arm. Now this is cute. You know, you see her holding a cup up to him, and you see he's kind of wearing white, and her teacup is white, and she's wearing red, and his teacup is red. So again, like the yin and yang symbol, there's a little bit of her and him, and a little bit of him and her. Now this is what threw me. I thought that this was a sleeved dress. This is not a sleeved dress. This is a strapless dress, and she has sleeve tattoos. So she has tattoos like he does, right? And what's beautiful is it's white and red, right? White and red, which means pink, which means love, right? And white roses, which is, and you can clearly see that these two are enamored. It's almost like, and they are, just like in all of these cards, the eye contact. There's such strong eye contact, again, you know, and you know, they always say eyes are the windows to the soul. So that is one constant that you see in most Two of Cups, is that there's always strong, you know, looking and delving into each other's eyes. Now, this can be a sign of declaring peace, because white definitely means peace, and there's a lot of white in this. Like, you know, the other thing is it's purity. It's like true love, pure love. But last but not least, it's a lot of attraction. It's a deepening bond. It's a bond that's just getting deepened. A lot of times when I see the Two of Cups, I definitely think of that. It's like that honeymoon phase when you start dating someone and you want to talk to them every day, and you talk for hours on end. You stay up all night talking to someone. Have you ever done that? And then you meet them for breakfast, and then you can't get enough of this person. The other thing that I kind of get is it is that phase where you're just, especially with the symbol of a communication. I do see this with the hummingbirds too, and probably a little bit with the dragonfly, because you see those fluttering wings. You know, you get a sense of like movement, like rapid movement. I just feel like you just can't get enough of each other. And you're like, you know, like a dragonfly, you're just flitting around each other. The other thing is, I do think hummingbirds mate for life. I think but the other thing is that it's about a real deep attraction, accepting each other's differences or complementing one another. This can be a sign that you're really complementing one another. The other thing is that you're understanding each other emotionally. The other thing that you get is that it's when you see this card, you feel like you see how there's no one, there's a vast vista behind them, but there's no one else around. Again, it's like being in your own bubble. It's just you and this person. The rest of the world doesn't exist, right? You know, two cats and one cup. But the last thing that it can mean is it can be entering into like kind of an unspoken emotional contract with one another. So this can be the sign, can be a time of, if you believe in promise rings, it can be like that kind of commitment to someone. But the other thing that I kind of get from this is that sometimes it can be a sign of a long-term partnership where maybe you are not married, maybe it's not as formal marriage, but you have, this is your partner, it is your life partner, you recognize them as that. And the other thing is that, you know, you feel like you're going in that direction, and you're going in that direction together. You're of one heart and of one mind. You're on the same page. It definitely means being on the same emotional page. The other thing that I kind of get is that in this card, if this comes out in like an everyday context, you could be married forever. And when the Two of Cups come out, it means that you know what your partner needs, and you're able to make the right decisions on their behalf. Have you ever had that where if your spouse needs to make a judgment call, and it's like, well, that's my wife, she knows me, right? She'll do what I need. And the same thing vice versa. You know, the other thing is you can trust your husband to do what you need. The other thing that I get is that I see this card as a really nice support. Like if this comes up after like the Empress, or it can be that someone's showing you a lot of emotional support. The other thing I get is that when someone shows you emotional support the way that you need it, right? Maybe you went through a really trying time. Maybe you went through a loss. They know what to say to you. They know how to support you without smothering you. It's like they're just in that right balance with you. They know how to counterbalance you. They know what you need. I sometimes joke, you know, if you're in a bad mood, they know whether or not, you know, it's like when your husband knows whether or not to come up and hug you or to back away slowly and throw chocolate at you. You know, it's like they just know, right? They know what to do to make you feel better because they know you. But a lot of times when it comes to a situation, it can be the continuation of a harmonious relationship. It usually means that it's really getting off the ground. It's becoming more serious. That, you know, you've been involved in a dispute, but it's coming to a peaceful conclusion. You know, that you're finding a peaceful resolution or balance between opposing viewpoints. It can be a reconciliation. You know, if you see this next to the Six of Cups, it can be a very positive contract. It can be meeting of a good friend, or, you know, someone that you rely on who just knows you so well. It's experiencing, you know, it can be an engagement. It can also be just the spirit of cooperation, you know, between two entities. So if this is like a business kind of, it can also be a business collaboration. So maybe you're hosting some kind of social event and you have two companies that are just, you know, they're almost like they understand each other so well and they cooperate very well. And it can also be a collaboration. So, you know, if you see this next to wands or something, you know, maybe it's some kind of, you know, two celebrities that get together to, you know, also I do kind of see this as sometimes it can be like an interview, like if you do something for a good cause. But it definitely, when it represents people, it just means, you know, it means couples. Definitely. The other thing is if you're asking about a person, sometimes the Two of Cups will come out because them and their you know, if you're asking about your cousin who just got engaged, you best believe, okay, it's not just cousin so-and-so, it is cousin so-and-so and their fiance because they just got engaged and they're joint, you know, they're joined at the hip. So sometimes it is a sign like, okay, include the hubby because they're, you know, they're like a pair. But it can be, you know, it can also be partners, you know, it can be two partners of a firm or a company that are just, you know, like Sears and Roebuck, you know, Procter and Gamble, you know, but it can also be besties. Like this is your best friend. This is your, you know, also a colleague, you know, someone that you work with. I do also see this card come up in a business context when it's like your right-hand man, like your backup person, someone who would always be there. And again, they know what to do in your absence, or if they have to speak for you, they know what you would want done. Now, when you see the Two of Cups in reverse, this is always a little bit of a sad card because it means you're not on the same page emotionally. So a lot of times it can mean a separation. It can mean that you're not, you like, I always see it as, and again, with that communication, it's like someone's not reaching out, someone's feeling misunderstood. It can be rejection. It could be not speaking the right love language, like you just feel that disconnect. It can be, you know, a parting, or it can definitely be a rejection. It can be a dissolution, like it can be a dissolution of a contract or some, I always kind of think of it as a handshake agreement. You know, what started off in good faith is not, you know, is falling apart. So sometimes that can be business related, you know, if you started, the other thing is that it can be on a small scale because these are minor arcana, like maybe, you know, maybe you started a TikTok channel with someone and then the other person said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And they just kind of walk away. And it does, you know, it kind of hurts your feelings. They're no longer reaching out to touch or there's no longer a connection between the two cups. It can be a tumultuous or a troubled relationship. It can be incompatibility. It can be a lack of compassion because again, you know, this time when you see that headbutt, you know, it can be like someone just really not giving a crap, like saying, okay, well, I don't care what you do, I'm gonna do my thing, you know. It can be unrequited love for sure because a lot of times it's someone reaching out to touch the cup, but it's not there. It can be, you know, someone who's not being reciprocal. Like if you're a man approaching a woman, and if this comes out in the reverse, maybe it can be the answer to your question. Okay, if I ask them out, or if I, you know, if I tell them that I care about them, how will they respond? And if you see the Two of Cups in reverse, it's usually a sign that they're not receptive. Sometimes it can be distrust or infidelity, you know, again, that's, you know, that you're not on the same level, or, you know, those cups are pouring out. And again, that lack of communication. If you see the Two of Cups in reverse next to the Seven of Swords, it can definitely be someone who's being deceptive or sneaky. A lot of times it's usually arguments or misunderstandings. Sometimes it can just be misunderstanding each other. It can be an imbalance give and take, like maybe someone's doing all the work, and the other thing that I kind of see is usually it's not giving enough appreciation. I do see it as like a imbalance of appreciation. If one person's staying at home with the kids and the other person comes home and treats them like, okay, you've done nothing all day, you know, I go home and I work. Or the same thing in reverse, you know, if somebody, you know, demands that you go and make the paycheck and they don't give you any appreciation. It's almost like not emotionally supporting your partner. It can be like disharmony or resentment. It can be, if in its extreme state, if you see this next to the devil or some, you know, like the wands in reverse, it can be a lot of, it can be contention and quite, you know, dislike to the point of hatred. It can be, you know, inequality or separation. It can be a precursor to divorce. If you see this, especially next to the Justice card. But it can also be that heartbreak that comes with, you know, if you do see this next to like the Five of Cups, it can be that heartbreak with, you know, breaking up is hard to do. You know, maybe you did feel that strong connection to someone, but it was, the other thing that I kind of get is if you see the Two of Cups in reverse next to the Eight of Cups, it's almost like you had to walk away because you were not being treated fairly. You were not being, you felt the connection, but the other person was not giving the same in return, and you had to walk away. And that's really hard. That's really hard. But also it can be, if you see this next to the Three of Swords, it can be a forced separation. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, you know, a lot of times it is usually the falling apart of a relationship, but a lot of times it is, sometimes it can flat out be that, that, you know, parting is like sweet sorrow. Like, you know, you don't want to leave this person, but you have to. So sometimes if you see this like next to a card that might mean deployment, like maybe the Chariot, you know, someone might have to go. Maybe they have to leave to go. You see this sometimes when you see two people who just started a really loving connection, but one person lives in New York and the other person lives in California, you know, New York to LA, you know, and they have to go back to work. So, you know, it can be that, it can be a sign of trying to connect over a distance. Or you know, I don't want us to part. Again, you can't get enough of one another, but then you're pulled apart. Sometimes if you do see court cards mixed in this, it could be someone who's keeping you apart. Or convincing one or the other of you that you're... One other thing is that sometimes this can be deception, where someone is in someone's ear. This is really love, but it's being blocked or prevented by a third party. You know, someone saying, well, you know, you're too different, or this would never work. You know, you live in New York, they live in LA. How are you ever going to make that work? Either that, or, you know, maybe someone feels like they don't make enough money and they shouldn't enter into a relationship until they have enough money. Or lastly, it can be a sign that maybe you have a connection that's outside of your current one. So, you know, maybe you have other obligations to family and you can't be in a connection, but you've met someone that you feel that heartfelt connection to. But when it comes to situation and an advice, it can be, you know, advised about someone that you are in conflict with. Like maybe, you know, maybe you're talking to your friends about like a relationship that's been kind of rocky. You know, it can be, you know, this coming after the Ace, it can be some of those, you know, if it pertains to a young relationship, it can definitely be those, you know, on again, off again relationships. If you see this next to the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, or the World in reverse, it can be, you know, a relationship that just doesn't seem to gel. Or you could be asking someone, okay, how do I make this better? How do I get peace in this relationship? If you see it next to the Hierophant, you could be praying to God or your higher power, like, okay, how do I get more lucky in love? But a lot of times in the reverse, when it pertains to a situation, it usually means something that has broken your trust, you know, something that you're trying to mend but might not be mendable. It can be, you know, inconsiderate behavior or hurt feelings. A partnership that hasn't lived up to its expectations, you know, definitely that. You had these high hopes, and then someone either broke trust or just turned out to be, you know, not the person that you thought they were. The other thing is that with the man reaching out and touching the cup, I do think that sometimes it can be someone who jumps from relationship to relationship, and you thought that they were sincere, but they're not. And the other thing is that when it's in the reverse, it's usually one person who's doing all the giving and another person who's just taking. You know, it's a one-sided relationship. But sometimes in the reading, it can indicate an ex-partner or you know, an ex-fiance. It can be a broken engagement. It can be an ex-wife or ex-husband. But it also can be a sign of the person, depending, you know, if it comes up next to a court card, it can be the person who's doing all the taking and not giving. But whether it's in the upright and the reverse, the Two of Cups is a beautiful card. With it being a minor arcana, it's not as harsh as a major, but it still has so much depth and meaning. And, you know, with the communication and with the level, you know, the two cups of love, it means warmth and connection and, you know, receptivity. And it definitely means, you know, a love connection. And it's one of those cards that you always, you know, readers look forward to come out, to pop up in a read. All right, so this concludes the how-to part. We're going to go ahead and move on with the reading. So we have 3 decks here. The first deck is the Rider-Waite-Smith by A.E. Mueller, or AGM, and with it is a beautiful sunstone. The second deck is the Linestrider Tarot by Siolo Thompson, and with it we have a beautiful blue fluorite. The third deck is the Slow Tarot by Lacey, Bryant, and with it we have a beautiful bloodstone. And because it is the Two of Cups, and I know this because it is how this is a reading on how the Two of Cups manifests in your life, and I thought, okay, there's nothing more love than the Two of Cups. So I went ahead and decided to go with 2 clarification decks. And these are 2 love clarification decks. So I'm busting out my love reading decks just for you. And we have the Romance Angels. This deck is actually out of print. It's a little bit hard to find. But on top of it is the citrine, and so we're going to clarify using the Romance Angels. The second deck is a personal deck that is made by another reader here on YouTube. And it's the Messages from the Divine Masculine. Now, the official author is Karen Burgess, but Karen is a reader here on YouTube, and I'll put her name down below. And this is a custom deck. When she came out with this deck, I was like, take my money. And I snatched it up, but it's a beautiful deck. There's so many cards, but what it does is it has messages it says from the Divine Masculine to the Divine Feminine, but I definitely use this deck for just messages to myself. But it is definitely has more of a love slant, and it's almost like the other person is this is like, what if you could read the other person's mind, what would they say? And these cards are so wonderful for that. So between these 2 cards, we're going to get a real 360 degree reading. But I do ask that you please choose from your intuition. I'm going to go ahead and do a freeze frame. If you need more time, please pause the video, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so pile number 1, how does the Two of Cups manifest in your life? Let's find out. Ooh, all right. Okay, current energy. Ooh, they're just coming out. Oh my gosh. Future energy. Okay, this card. Okay. Oh, wow. And then I'm seeing the 6 of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. So let's go ahead and get your messages card. Okay. Oh, wow, this popped out a little earlier. See if there's any more. Okay. That's the only one that wants to come out for right now. Let's go ahead and get your Romance Angels. Oh. feeling. Oh, good Lord, guys. Wow. I'm seeing codependency and passion that's wanting to pump out. Wow, this is very cut and dry. And can I tell you, you have 4 major arcana. This is a very deep relationship. What I'm also getting is this is definitely you and another person. It can be male or female. It can genders. You can assign genders as needed. There's no wrong or right way. But you have 4 major arcanas here in both the past, present, and 2 in the future. And you have 2 cards that represent feelings. So what I'm seeing here is that in the past, you have the High Priestess, which is hidden energy. It's like, it's somebody who understands the goings on beyond the surface. Like the High Priestess is the guardian of the veil. She understands the 5D and the 3D. And I'm sorry, I'll try to explain this if what it is that in the past, I'm seeing several cards of very withdrawn energy. And what it is that it's almost like there's a higher purpose to this connection, even though this is a minor card. You feel a connection to someone, but you feel like this connection is breaking down, right? There was a higher spiritual lesson. The other thing that I kind of get is that in the past that, I hope this is making sense. You are connected to someone. You are connected to someone, and it's very much, it's a real relationship. The way that you feel about this person is legitimate. What I'm kind of getting here is that I feel like you feel, you know what I'm getting is that I get this sense that you had a connection with someone and you felt like, wow, this is like 2 of Cups. This is my counterpart. This is something real, right? This connection that you felt, you almost, I get the sense that you're almost questioning whether or not it's real. And it is real. It's very real. And in the past, it's almost like you went with your intuition. What I'm getting is in the past that you've had your eye on this person, like you feel there's somebody in your life that you feel like is very much a soulmate. They feel like your kindred spirit. They feel like it's not as strong as the lovers, but it's almost like you're questioning, okay, is this connection really what I think it is? And in the past, you almost refrained. I also get the sense that you are very much in touch with your higher power. Like you it's not like you just walk up to someone and say, oh, you're cute, let me be your twin flame. No, you know when I also get the sense that you don't fall in love lightly. And that's what I'm kind of getting from this. I think in the past you were very independent. The other thing that I kind of get is in the past, the High Priestess is like the Vestal Virgin. Like she's the guardian of the flame. I really do think that I think in the past you were very single. Not in like a contradictory way, condescending way. I think the High Priestess is very much like the it girl. I think a lot of people, what I'm kind of getting is that in the past you probably didn't date a whole lot of people, and it's because you're a very spiritually evolved person. And then somebody came along and really they reached out and they touched your cup. And they touched you. I think someone came along and really stirred up your feelings. And I think in the past you never really had your feelings stirred up. I think it wasn't that you wanted to be single, but it's almost like I get a strong sense that you were just living your life. Like you were doing your own thing. The other thing is that I do get a sense that you had a lot of spiritual pursuits. Maybe you read cards for yourself, or and it doesn't just have to be cartomancy. Maybe you do something else that's very spiritual. You're just in tune with your higher purpose. Like I do get a sense that you know what you're on this planet to do. You could be spiritual in a more religious sense. I don't see the Hierophant here, but But again, with the cross, you know what you're here to do. You're here to serve your purpose. The other thing that I get is that you're just in tune. You're really in tune. Maybe you meditate. Maybe you do, maybe Reiki or meditation or yoga. I get some kind of spiritual higher learning. Like you understand things on a far higher plane. And someone came along, and you know what I get from this is that this is the 2 in the major arcana, and this is the 2 in the minor for emotions. Someone came along and brought you down to earth. And it totally rocked your world. It rocked your world. You were the other thing I kind of get is that you were kind of minding your own business, and this person came along, and they got you right in the feels. Like they totally. The other thing that I kind of get is that I keep hearing Vestal Virgin, because a Vestal Virgin is someone who is almost a little bit like a nun. They're kind of they're sworn to celibacy in honor to devote their full and undivided attention to their beliefs. And I don't want you to take that in a stringent kind of way. I'm not saying that you've taken those vows, but I do get a sense that you were living your life's purpose, and your life's purpose really did serve other people. I think you're very wise. I think you understand I think you understand that everything happens for a reason. That's the other thing about this, is that someone came along and they really reached out to you. The other thing that I kind of get is that I do get a sense, because you see that she's wearing white and blue. And you see that she is almost like this higher kind of being. And then it's almost like she took the headdress off and put on a tunic. Someone brought you down to earth by touching your emotions. They wanted to get to know you as a person. And this not only rocked your world, maybe this taught you something new. The other thing is that I get the sense that this relationship did not stick around. It's almost like it came in and it really rocked your world, and then it kind of crumbled. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe you were, I do think that this might have been part of your divine path, but it was a surprise, and it gave you a whole new, because sometimes when you become really specialized in something, you get blind spots, right? You get blindsided by something. And maybe that blindsiding was, maybe you felt like you didn't need love. Maybe you felt like, and not in a bad way, maybe you just really never came across someone that you felt compatible with, because again, the High Priestess, she's very androgynous in the way you look at her, and she looks untouchable. She does. She looks like a nun, or some, like some kind of spiritual deity that you're not allowed to touch. And someone came along and touched your heart, and it brought you down to earth. It almost made you human. It made you human. And but the thing is that I think this relationship did 2 things. First of all, I think it opened you up to, I don't think that you had been dating very much before this. Maybe you were committed to higher purposes in your life, and that's completely possible. You can be in this corporal form and serving a higher good, a higher purpose, but you're not really connecting to other human beings on a 3D level, right? I think you got used to being in the 5D. I think you got used to being on like a higher astrological plane, and someone came along and you fell in love. You fell in love, and it not only rocked your world, like it made you feel human things. It made you feel like human love and human connection. But I do think it broke down. I think it changed you psychologically. And I think it did break down some beliefs that you had in your head, You know, maybe you believe that you would never get married. Maybe you believe that there was no one out there for you who understood you. Because that's the other thing with the high priestess. Usually, I'll come out and say it. Usually, the high priestess is us woo woo folks, like people who read cards or study crystals, or you know, because we study spirituality in different ways. Maybe you study Buddhism. Maybe you study Zen. Or astrology, you know, cartomancy, or gemstones, you know, crystals, and you know, you get a stigma for that. And what you kind of do is to deal with the stigma. You just say, okay, well, no one understands me. I'm different. But you know, that's a commitment to your learning, your understanding, and you are very wise. The other thing, other thing that I think is so shocking, like that lightning bolt, is that you did not think that. It's amazing how emotions bring you down to that real human level, right? You know, someone comes along and you fall in love, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know. I'm hearing that doo-wop song from the 50s. Why do fools fall in love? Why do, you know, birds sing all day? You know, and you had that. You had the birds singing. You had the sun shining, and you're like, oh my God. This is what it's like to be those human people that I usually am so, you know, detached from, you know. But the other thing that I'm kind of getting is that I'm feeling like, I do feel like this relationship did not last. It came in and it really rocked your world. I think it changed a lot for you. The other thing that I'm kind of getting is I think you changed the other person. I think in the brief time that you were together, you showed this person something. And the other thing, and let me just come out and tell you, the universe sends you teachers. The universe sends you teachers. And sometimes you might have had a past relationship with this person. Because the other thing I saw codependency and I saw passion. So passion can really. The other thing that I kind of get is sometimes we get into. I'll be the first to say it because I'm speaking for myself. I don't mean to speak for anyone else. I'm speaking for myself. I got into New Age topics because I was in a lot of pain from both losses in my life and a lot of emotional upbringing from my childhood. I had a wonderful childhood. I have two wonderful parents. But just like all human beings are flawed, you know, there were troubled times. It was not always easy. And sometimes escaping into school and escaping into religion, escaping into New Age topics, it gets you away from that pain in a way that evolves you spiritually. But it takes you away from, you know, it will, just like when you go for your PhD, you know, if you're not dating while you're doing your PhD, you're going to blink and be 32 and single, you know? So the universe might have it, and I sense, because again, the cups are mutual, I think that the universe brought you someone who spun your head around, you know, who really touched your heart, someone who touched you, and you're untouchable, someone who touched your emotions. And in return, I think you probably zapped this person because you are of that higher level. But I think this is intentional because there are no accidents. There are no accidents. You know, if foundations of faulty belief need to crumble, and that can be with you and with this other person, I really feel, and because of the receptivity here, and this is not in the reverse, I get a sense that you changed each other's lives. But what I am kind of getting is that you are a powerhouse. You are a powerhouse of spiritual energy, and you needed to be brought down to earth. And then I have a feeling that this person is very much of the earth and needed to evolve, needed to, what's the word I'm looking for? It begins with an E and it talks about ascend. This person is of the earth and needs to ascend. And I think you came together in a love relationship and boom shakalaka. But the thing is that both of you feel like foundations are crumbling. It's possible that your higher knowledge really made this person want to ascend, and they have to let go of corporal things. And then you don't need to downgrade, but you do need to be in touch with your heart. I think there's a balance here. There's a balance here. And I think you're both changing. You're both letting go of systems that no longer serve you to have a balance where you can meet in the middle. Because the other thing is, I don't think that you're with this person. I think you met each other. There was a great love here. You irrevocably changed one another. This person wants to ascend because of you, and you want to come down to earth because of them. You know what I'm thinking of, and this is a crazy analogy. Have you ever seen that movie with Drew Barrymore from Ever After, when she's talking to the prince and she's like, a fish can fall in love with a bird, but how will they live? And then they say, well, I'll just make the fish wings. I feel like you want to be with this person, but it's almost like you have to let go of old systems. You both have to metamorphosize, and it's a sudden shock for both of you. And I feel like this love is changing you. It's making you, it's changing. The other thing is that in tarot, the Tower is an Aries or a Mars ruled card, but I always think of it as Aquarius, because Aquarius rules lightning and it is sudden change. The other thing is it's paradigm shift kind of change. It's like, Aquarius ruled the social revolution in the 60s, social equality. It's the same thing. It's almost like you want to be with one another, but it means that both of you really have to, this one person has to level up spiritually, and you don't have to level down, but you have to get in touch with your more corporal feelings. And the High Priestess is the guardian of both worlds. I get the sense that, wow, guys, I'm hearing out of balance. I'm hearing you're out of balance, but it's crazy to call you out of balance because it seems like you're more in the spiritual realm. It's almost like you're a superhero and you're so used to being in your like Shiva powers that you're not used to coming back and putting on the apron and being human. And it's almost like it's saying, okay, in order to bring you love, you got to be human a little bit. You got to let people touch your heart, touch your cup. Now, as we go to the future, this has occurred already, and I feel like you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. It feels like chaos, but it's change. I'm almost getting a little bit of a death vibe here, but it's not quite death. It's just you have to break down. You have to let the structures of belief or whatever script that was holding you back needs to fall. And in order to have what you want, in order to have the receptivity, you have to be on the same level. And in order to do that, and it's not telling you to dim to fit in. It's not telling you that. But it is almost like this person you are at a pretty high height with your spirituality, and that's not easy for someone to catch up if they're not on the same level as you. The other thing is that you're not used to people touching your heart this way. So I think it is affecting you too. The other thing is that I think you're letting go of some negative beliefs. I think that you've probably escaped into your spirituality to avoid pain. Maybe you've had abandonment in your past. Maybe you've had people who've never been there for you, so you don't stay in the corporal world. You just say, okay, I'm going to believe my spiritual beliefs. I'll just be single. I'll just be enlightened and alone. But the universe doesn't want you to be enlightened and alone. They want you to let go of past pains. They want to let go of past scripts. Not all people are going to hurt you. You can definitely have this 2 cups. It can be reciprocal. But you're going to have to let old systems of belief crumble. And that's going to be hard for both of you. But I do see that you have the potential of meeting on the same level. God, this is deep. This is really deep, pile 1. Normally I don't get this deep until pile 3. Oh my God. Please comment. You are the High Priestess, right? You study something. I'm sorry, guys. I'm feeling this. And I'm feeling like the conduit. Your level of understanding is freaking insane. Can I just tell you that? Not in a bad way. It's cool. I'm feeling flow. I'm feeling flow. You know exactly what's going on. The other thing is that the other thing about the situation is that most people, when they get a tower moment, they just cry and freak out because it feels like catastrophe. You feel it, you feel this, but it's almost like you understand the higher reasoning behind it. And it's like, oh God, I'm having a tower moment. Great, fabulous. This is going to be painful. You know what to expect. But it's like, if you are going through discomfort, you understand that there's a higher purpose to that discomfort. And you are changing. There's something changing in order to make this even, to give you this love that you're asking for. Now, in the future, this is really amazing. You have a Major Arcana sandwich, and again, I'm getting the instinct that you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've got the crowning of this, because I always look at it as like root, stem, and bloom. So this is the actual manifestation. This is where you're at. But the root of this is this energy. What brought you here is this energy. The other thing that I get is because these two people are like this, I have a feeling this is your person. I do have a feeling this is your person. I think you're the High Priestess. I definitely think your emotions have been touched, but it's almost like you're letting the tower fall and you understand. It's almost like, you know what, there's non-action on your side because you know this tower has to fall. Someone has some ascension to do to meet you on your level, but you are also, not to sound strange, I keep hearing your powers are being stripped from you to make you human. Not in a bad way. It's almost like you can meet somebody on their level. You can take off the headdress. And again, this white and blue, you can take off the headdress and meet somebody on their level. But in order for this to work, it has to be reciprocal. So I think both of you are changing. Both of you are letting go of old scripts. The other thing is I think you have to let up old scripts of pain. The other thing is I think it's not easy for you, but you know how to do it. But in the future, this person, your person, is right now they're pulling within themselves. Both of these cards are about non-action. And they're both extremely spiritual. Except the Hermit is a little bit more of a real world card. I don't think I think this person knows that they need to level up to be with you. And I think right now, this is crazy here because the root of this is the Chariot and the 8 of Wands, and then it's crowned by the Hermit. This person is holding back. Your person is holding back because they know, it's almost like they're trying to get of the same spiritual level as you are. I'm seeing two halves of a story here, guys. It's past and it's future. This is you and this is them. The other thing that I'm getting here is that your person and you have been through a tower moment presently. This person is going through a tower moment, and I'm seeing a masculine here, guys. The other thing I'm kind of hearing is I'm hearing it's aged me 100 years because you see this person looks older as the Hermit. Someone has gone through a really, really bad, someone has gone through a really dramatic change in their life, and I think it's also put them on your level. Like, again, this person is pulling within themselves to really reflect. They have the star, like he's got the lantern lighting his way. This person has matured a whole lot. The other thing I get is that I don't think that you've seen this maturity. I think there's definitely hidden action here. There's a breakdown that somebody's going through, and they really want to come forward. Underneath the surface, this person wants to come to you with wings on fire. You know, the Chariot is like victory. It's like they've learned from their mistakes. The other thing that I get is that you don't know that this is coming. From the outside, it looks like this person is withdrawn and pulled into themselves. You know what I'm almost getting is that you felt this really deep connection with someone, and then you felt like it fell apart. You were like, okay, this person, you know, we felt this deep connection, but he or she said they didn't want me. They said they weren't ready. Things fell apart. I think you also got all torn up. I also think that you hide that. You got all torn up because I think you understand that everything happens for a reason. The other thing is I think you've been through some crap. in your childhood, in your life, you've seen a lot. And you understand if tower moments happen that there's a reason, and you spiritually kind of assimilate that. But it still did hurt because you felt a connection. And so right now you're just stepping back. You're stepping back and letting the tower fall. And it looks like the other person is just pulled. They're withdrawn. And you think that they're just reflecting. I honestly get the feeling that you think that they're never coming back. The other thing that I get is that same hand that's pulled out. This time it's holding a lantern. This person's holding a torch. This person's holding a torch for you. I think, and believe me, if you're a spiritual person, you know exactly how tough it is to love someone like us. And I don't mean that in a condescending way, but think about it. When you've got someone who understands New Age the way that a card reader would, or the way that an astrologer would, or a Zen person would, that's a lot to handle. That is like, that is like falling in love. I just watched the Wonder Woman movie. It's like, okay, Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman. It's like, okay, how can you fall in love with Wonder Woman? You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. But I feel like this experience, this love has really affected both of you. You're more familiar with the tower, the process of the tower. This person, it hit a little bit harder, but they grew up a whole lot. But what you don't see, and I also think that you're both blind to it, this person is holding you touched this person. You touched this person and they touched you. You helped them grow, and you've taught them so much because they're reflecting back on the times with you. And I think there's also, in the future, you're going to get news. You're going to get news, but right now it looks like this person is just withdrawn and like they have no interest in you. But they're thinking about the best course of action. I think you've helped this person evolve, and this person has helped touch your emotions and help you become more human. But they want to come at you with their tail feathers on fire, but it's almost like you can't see that, right? It doesn't look like that on the surface. On the surface, it just looks like this person's withdrawn and like they have no interest in you. Now, this is where your oracle cards, holy crap, guys. First off, you got a lot of purple here, which is the crown chakra, which is that pinnacle of spiritual evolution. It's the apex of spiritual knowing and understanding. It's actually getting it. And can I just say, there's no two cards in the majors that get it more than the High Priestess and the Hermit. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm sorry. You guys got me animated. I don't know where this is coming from. This is crazy. This is cool. But you got romantic feelings. Your romantic feelings are real and worth exploring. And then you got the card, I feel you. And can I just say, when I was doing the introduction, I cut the deck to this card. This person is saying this. This is the card that's like, if you could read their mind, this is what they'd say. I feel you. And I don't think this is one-sided, because this is a mutual reception card. You feel each other. The other thing that I get, and oh gosh, guys, this is so freaking beautiful, is that I think you're the woman. I think you're the High Priestess in this, and I think your love interest is the Hermit. The funny thing is that your Hermit, your love, thinks that he is so human, right? The other thing is that Hermit is very Virgo energy. It's very self-effacing. It's not egotistical. He feels like you are this spiritual goddess and that he's just this mortal nothing. Have you ever watched The Lord of the Rings, and what is that prince who's in love with the elfish princess, and she has all these powers and he just feels like a human nobody? But he's a hermit. The hermit is a human person who has a shit ton of knowledge. Pardon my French, but this person has grown leaps and bounds to be on your level. And you did not demote yourself, but this person touched your heart, and you haven't had your heart touched in so long. You know, again, it's almost like you haven't loved. You've just been sitting on your concrete slab, understanding the higher workings of the universe. It's like, okay, love, yeah. Someone came along and touched that cup, and you're like, oh my God, oh my God. And what it's telling me here is that this love is mutual. You think that it's not because this person's being withdrawn, but this person's being withdrawn because they want to be on your level, and you're pretty high up there and you don't realize it. The other thing is, I feel you, and this can be either way, and your feelings are real and worth exploring. So you're not imagining this. The other thing that I get is that if you did have a breakdown of this, if you felt like this connection was not possible, first off, these cups are in the upright, so abso-freaking-lutely it's possible, and you're feeling each other. And you know what? I'm almost going to dare you right now, close your eyes. Can you feel them? Because they can feel you. Because this is a conduit. You feel each other. Boom, boom, boom. And the future is that this person is going to seem like they're withdrawn, but underneath the surface, once they're ready, there's no mountain wall barricade that's going to keep them from you. But they're in repose because they're learning. And there's some ancient wisdom here, guys. You guys are equals. The irony is that you think that you're not. It's almost like you're worried about, you know, being human enough for them, and they're worried about being God enough for you. And I don't mean that in any bad way. I mean that in a equal, two people being equal. But I feel you, and your feelings are real and worth exploring. That's really beautiful, guys. And definitely if you do come together in the future, because the other thing that I get is that with the Eight of Wands, it's a lot of, I see the Eight of Wands is waiting for that last, like, there's one last step. It's almost like this person is almost at the end of their learning, and as soon as they get there, as soon as they complete once they're ready, it's going to be like lightning. It's going to be like lightning, and you are the catalyst to help that spiritual learning, and they are the catalyst of you touching, getting in balance with your own heart. That's freaking beautiful, guys. Oh my gosh. You really hit me with that one. Oh my gosh. Whew. Good gravy. I can't believe how powerful that was. That's amazing, Pile One. Seriously. I'm a little like, it takes me a moment to warm up as I'm doing these readings, but holy Toledo. Holy moly. All right, so deck number 2, the Linestrider Tarot. How does the Two of Cups manifest in your life? I'm sorry, I'm still shaking. I'm shook from from pile number 1 here. Okay, so Two of Cups, pile number 2. So what's the past? Ooh. Okay, present energy. Do we have a flipper? We have a flipper. Oh, and goodness. All right. Future energy, please. Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead and get your messages from the Divine Masculine. Can we see? Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm going to go ahead and take both cards. And what's your... Okay, I'm just going to clarify one thing real quick. Clarify deception. All right, wow. Oh, shoot. I'm knocking my poor slow tarot all over the place. Okay, there we go. All right. Wow, guys. I'm getting a really clear message. Seven of Wands. Okay. Wow. This is really, really quite wild. So first off, we've got, in the past, we've got the Three of Cups, and the root of it is justice. So I kind of read that one of two ways. The first way that I can kind of read it is that it's possible that maybe you or your person, I'm really kind of getting a vibe that it's your person. This person might have had some kind of legal dealings with someone in the past. They might have been divorced, or just had some kind of bad falling out that involved some kind of like payment or legal repercussions with someone. And then after that, you know how sometimes people rebel, it's like sometimes you get a little pissed off. It's like, okay, I've been through a divorce, relationships suck. I'm going to be footloose and fancy free. I'm not going to give a crap about anyone. I'm just going to date. I'm going to party. So again, you see all these party animals, all these animals in party hats. And so I kind of get that kind of energy. It could be your energy as well. Maybe you feel like in the past, you've just, maybe relationships have really kind of, I'm getting the sense of some, relationships kind of raking you over the coals legally or financially. The other thing that I kind of get, one other way that I kind of read it is that maybe this could be that one or either you or your person really was a little bit of the partier. Like maybe you or your person was the type of person that, likes to party, where you would go out, have too many drinks, maybe get into trouble. Sometimes I kind of see this as like, being held accountable for reckless behavior. Maybe there was vandalism. Maybe you just got a little too rowdy. Maybe you ripped up hotel rooms, something like that. And it's almost like, you're daring to be caught is kind of what I'm getting. It's like, you live, one or both of you kind of live for the thrill. The other way that I kind of get it is that I really do get a sense that it's almost like this person wants freedom from the rules, right? They don't want to be restricted. The other thing is that justice can sometimes be the courtroom. I do see kind of divorce or yeah, I do almost see kind of rowdy behavior that might lead to legal consequences, but this person is used to it. Like that's how they roll. The other way I kind of read it is that they don't want to be restricted. They almost toe the line of the law, kind of like. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe they like the thrill of getting close to marriage, but then they say nope. I'm a free agent. I'm a party person, right? Because the Three of Cups is definitely about imbibing. The other thing that I get is that the Three of Cups is partying with your friends. It is partying with your friends. And when you think about it, if this is, I'm getting a strong sense this is your love interest, that they probably had a posse. They have a posse. The other thing that you see, and this is for young men as well as young women. I'm just going to get a sip of water. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much. Sorry, gotta hydrate. Okay, posse. Party animals. Now there's such a thing in dating, and you hear this. You can look this up. This is a psychological thing, and it's very prevalent with guys. It's very prevalent with guys. I'm not trying to throw the males under the bus, but women do it too. I mean, Sex in the City. We stay in our girl packs, but it's a little bit more proven that what men do is that men kind of settle down in groups. And not in a weird way. It's a little bit of the mojo of, well, until, if all of my friends are single, I want to be single too, right? And what happens is the paradigm, the overall theme of a group of friends. So maybe your husband has had a group of single guy friends, the guy posse, the wingman. And they've been single since they were teenagers, right? And then one of them gets married, and then the next one gets married, and then before you know it, it's like, and it can work in reverse as well. You know, maybe one of them had met a girl that really, and that plays into your story, but you know, before they before they met you, they were really, you know, the group guy. The other thing that I kind of get is they might have been kind of the leader of their group. Here, either that or that, you know, they you know, kind of stayed single to be in the group. And honestly, it is very tough on men because, you know, once you have a circle of friends, you know, you do. The other thing that you kind of get is sometimes, you know, sometimes guys will act like jerks because what they're doing is they're appealing to their friends, right? Like, oh, he's the ladies' man. He gets all the girls, and, you know, he looks like, you know, the man of the group. And but what happens is inevitably, I do get a sense of, with justice being the root of it, it's almost like he's kind of towing the line of that, you know, like, well, I can't be pinned down. I'll never, you know, I won't get married. I'm gonna be the front, you know, the front flyer of this group. Either that, or, you know, he's just it's a little bit of a clan mentality, because if, you know, if you have a group of like 4 guys and one of them gets serious and then starts contemplating marriage to their girlfriend, then it's down to 3. And inevitably, you know, as the group gets older, that starts to happen. One person gets married, then the next one gets married, and then the next one, and then before you know it, you're not, you know, you're not king of the pack, you're not the coolest guy getting all the girls. You're just that single guy while all your friends are home with their wives. And so what happened was, and you never know who the first person in the pack is going to be. That's what I'm kind of getting from this. It's almost like I'm getting a sense of 3 friends that you were always swinging singles, that you stayed ahead of the law. You know, I am hearing that Aladdin song, you know, one step ahead of the lawman, one step ahead of the, you know, it's almost like you party together, and it was your support system, right? It was their support system, or this could be you, but I'm really getting that it's your person. And this is amazing, guys, because remember in the intro, I talked about it being the yin yang symbol, like, you know, yang is the initiator and yin is the receptive, and there's one dot that's in, you know, there's a little bit of you and them, a little bit of them and you. There's like a circle. And look at this. Under your 2 of Cups, you've got the 4 of Wands, and it's 2 rabbits that are in a circle. So what I am getting here, guys, is that either you or your person you were always one step ahead of marriage. You never let it come to marriage. You'd meet guys, you'd meet girls, you'd date casually, but it's almost like you were the swinging single. The other thing that I kind of get is that you did have a lot of casual relationships. It is possible that one of those casual relationships nearly caught you or your partner, and there might have been some legal fallout from it. Either that, or one of you would get a little out of hand. Maybe someone did get a little rowdy, and it involved in a few legal settlements. But one of your persons was definitely, I'm getting more of the party girl or party guy. And then they meet you, and it's like the other half of their soul. Truly, other half of the soul. Somebody wants to get married here. This is some straight up, you've got the 2 of Cups and the 4 of freaking Wands. That is game over. Not in a bad way. And it's not even in a bad way. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe when they were dating, you know, this, either you or this other person, it was very formula, you know. Okay, we go to the local watering hole, there's new people there, I haven't talked to that chick, I haven't talked to that guy, I've never seen that guy before, let me walk up, let me bat my eyes, let me ask for their number. You know, the other thing I get is that you kind of keep it balanced. One other thing that I kind of get is underneath the surface, because this is the root of the situation, maybe injustice does rule marriage. It's balance. You see the balance scales. Maybe, you know, the other thing that I kind of get is maybe one of you was kind of tired of the dating life. Like you would go out to, you know, you go out to the bars, you go out to the party scene, and you just weren't quite in, you wanted more balance in your life. You didn't want it. I think you were starting to get tired of the party scene. Either that, or maybe you wanted more balance, but you kept getting dragged into the party scene because other of your friends were still single, and you know they needed a wingman. But that was the past. And I think underneath the surface you really did. Maybe someone did want marriage even though they were keeping up the front. Because that does play into your oracle cards. You have deception. It's like someone's putting a mask on. I think either you or your person really did want marriage, but they were still, you know, maybe all of their friends were still single and they didn't want to be the odd man out. They didn't want to be the first person to be picked off in the by Cupid, right? But you definitely got picked off by Cupid, because the center, you've got Two of Cups, Four of Wands. You met your match. You met someone who was the total other half of your soul. The other thing that's really beautiful about this is that in these cards, in the Two of Cups, the female is on the left and the male is on the right. And here you have the female, you know, like in a circle on the right and him on the left. It's almost like you're circling one another. This is definitely, I try not to throw around the phrase twin flame. The phrase twin flame, because the Four of Wands is a twin flame card, but twin flame in the spiritual community means that one soul, the same soul, was split in half and put into a male and feminine body. And it can be male, male, it can be female, female. Assign the genders as it resonates. But it just means that two halves of one soul were separated and they found their way back to one another. I use that term very lightly, because the number of people in this earth, the number of souls in the spiritual plane, I'm not 100% sure if I believe in twin flame or not. There's a lot of readers that talk about that. So I don't delve into that because I'm not knowledgeable about it at all. But I can say that is the technical meaning of it. And the Four of Wands, because it's two wands, that is 1111. It's like a parallel. And what you see here is you see two wands here. And if you look behind the two cats, you also see like 4 and 4. The Two of Cups that's in your life is, you feel like this person is the other half of your soul. You feel like this is your match. This is the yang to your yin, the yin to your yang. This is your person. And it's funny because you've got a major arcana in the past. Maybe someone got in trouble with the law, or maybe someone clandestinely, someone secretly really did want to find their other half, and they did. That's the other thing, is that maybe you were hanging with your friends. But what I'm kind of getting here is that the other thing about the Two of Cups is it's feeling like you're in your own bubble, right? It's feeling like once you meet that other person, it's going to separate you from your friends. You're going to be your own entity. It's going to be, you know, well, me and Lovey, you know, Lovey and me, you know, but you cannot deny this connection. This is like crazy, guys. And this flipped. That your Two of Cups is Four of Wands. This, I'm shocked the Lovers didn't come out. If the Lovers, the Chariot, this is full speed ahead. You know, you feel like this, you met someone that you feel like is the other half of your freaking soul. And that's pretty strong energy. And you just feel that way. It doesn't necessarily, these are still minors, you know, but you wanted, the other thing is that I do get a little bit of manifestation from this, because either you or the other person wanted balance in your life. The other thing I kind of get is maybe they wanted balance. They were tired of partying. Maybe you did want to come home to the same person every night, but you wanted it to be someone that you really loved with your heart and soul, and you got that. You found somebody. The other thing is that you're crazy attracted to this person. The other thing that I kind of get is that this could be the masculine in your life, and they're assertive, and you love that. It lights your fire. Now, the future of this is interesting, is that you got the seven of Wands, And the Seven of Wands is a conflict card. It's like, you know, standing above the chaos, right? It's resisting. It's resisting. So, and just to get into your oracle cards real quick, I thought this was amazing. I really feel like the colors are very similar. I just feel like the kind of brownish is the same color. But it says, everything's falling apart, and I want to share my feelings with you. So, you know what, guys? I think I really get a strong sense that this other person, I think someone fell head over tea kettle in love with you. You know that they're your second, your Two of Cups, your Four of Wands, your partner, your compadre. I mean, how much you look like mirror images of one another, and there's crazy attraction. But what's happening is this is not going to be an easy ride. This person either has some kind of something legal in their past, maybe from some kind of debauchery that they've done. Maybe they were a partier in their past. Maybe they have a previous relationship or divorce. And I also get the sense they did not expect to meet you. So as they move forward, it's gonna be a little bit of a battle. The other thing I get is Seven of Wands is like defending yourself. Like, I think that they're gonna have to. I do get the sense that some kind of drama is being pulled into your relationship. What you have with your person is, the other thing I get is I'm getting a strong bubble. It's almost like all of these problems disappear when you're together. But the problem is that those problems don't go away. You know, those problems are still there. If someone has a divorce or legal entanglements, maybe they party too much, or, you know, maybe they do have, you know, I'm not seeing children involved, but, you know, maybe they have other legal obligations that they're trying to just not drag you into. The other thing that I get is that maybe they're trying to stay away from you to avoid you dragging you into their drama. The last thing I kind of get is that maybe they are afraid of being the first person to break away from the pack. You know, again, you know, and not to say that that's a good reason not to follow your heart, but you'd be amazed, you know, and especially with men, again, you know, when all of your friends are single, you don't want to be the first one to break formation, so to speak. Either that, or when all of your other friends are getting paired off and getting married and you're the last single guy, you kind of feel like a schmuck. But here I am definitely getting like, the Seven of Wands is like fighting an overwhelming force. And what I can kind of think of is two things. They either have to fight to get away from whatever legal entanglement they had in their more partying days, or they're fighting this connection, like they're denying that this connection is real, even though it's the freaking, I'm seeing Four Wands twice. This is definitely a soul connection. This is a very, very good match. But someone might be fighting it off because they have other conflict. But your two cards, and this is the message from the Divine Masculine. So this is like if you could hear their thoughts, what would they say? And it says, everything's falling apart, and I want to share my feelings with you. And gosh, guys, hello. You know, yeah, you want to share your feelings with me? You're their other bunny. You're their other wildcat. You are, the other thing I get is that you would understand. I think they're trying to keep you out of their crap, but you know, it's really hard because it's like you're the other half of their soul. And we talked about that too. You would understand, right? In the intro, we talked about, you know, you will understand them on an emotional level. But what you have is you've got heart-to-heart conversations. Oh my God. Honestly discuss your feelings with one another. And deception, someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. And what I get is, and you also got the Fool too. I asked for a clarifier for the deception card because I think someone is putting up a front. I think someone is either they're trying to look like the single guy or the single girl. Maybe they have some kind of legal obligation where they can't jump into a new relationship yet, but And definitely, I'm not going to call it unfortunate, because it's not unfortunate. I think the universe knows the right time for everything. So if you met each other and it's this kind of connection, it was meant to happen. But it's putting this person in a predicament where the other thing that I kind of get is that the Seven of Wands might mean that this person might have to defend your relationship. So what they're doing is they're putting on a mask. They're like, oh no, I'm not in a relationship with this person. But they have to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you to tell you what's really going on. You know, I think what it is that you might be confused. You see something's happening. You see there's chaos afoot, but this person might be putting on a front. Either that, or what might happen is that I'm really getting a sense that someone might come after them legally if you're connected to them. If they get married to you, you might be tied into the fiscal responsibilities. I'm not seeing any pentacles, but you might either have to pay for something that they did in their younger and stupider days, or if this is a previous relationship and like a previous divorce, maybe they met you, they were rebelling, like, okay, I'm divorced, my life is crap, let me go party. And then they met you and it's like, oh my God, this person is my other half. And then it's like, well, I can't get into a relationship right now. This is gonna blow up in my face. But there's something going on that they want to shield you from, but it's almost like they have to act like a different person to either fit in with a group. Maybe I'm not seeing pentacles. I don't think this is work related, but they definitely, the only way that this is going to come to light in order for you to understand what's going on is for them to drop the mask and to be real with you. But the crazy thing is that I do get the sense that they're trying to defend you. I think they want to tell you the truth, but it's going to be quite a tale. And I think because you're so in balance, I do get a sense they don't want to drag you into their shit. Pardon my French. There's something that they got entangled with. And it might involve a group or friends, or when they were being kind of frivolous. But everything's falling apart in the Seven of Wands. I think that they would really have to defend your relationship. They know your relationship is true, and you know their relationship is true. And the other thing is they could tell you anything. You understand them. If they came to you with the truth, look at this, guys. Hello. McFly. This person, male, female, can totally come to you and tell you the truth, but I do get the sense that they're keeping up a front because they need to. But I think this truth is coming. But the Fool is about taking a leap of faith. And I think that would be very hard for them. So I don't think this is an easy situation. I'm not trying to make light of it. I don't mean to joke about it. But I'm sorry, just when I see such connected cards like the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands, this person knows. The other thing is that this is a 2, but there's 4 poles here. That's stability. This person knows they have stability with you. They could drop the mask with you. But the other thing I kind of get is that I think that the other thing I get from the Fool is I think they're afraid of appearing foolish. I think that they don't want to tell you what they've done. I don't think they want to show you the crap that they stirred up. But I do legitimately think that they started this when they were younger and inexperienced. So it's not entirely their fault, but they got some splaining to do. And the other thing is that, yeah, I think that they'd have to protect your it's almost like a risk that they would have to take. But I do think that they're on the brink of doing that. I think I would not be surprised if this is current energy. I think in the future that they're willing to fight that fight. And I think they are going to come and tell you. But the other thing I get is that they might have to admit some kind of deception to you. And then after they admit the deception to you and all is cleared in between you and them, that it is going to be a battle. And it's almost like they're going to have to protect you from the crap that they brought onto your relationship, because everything that's falling apart is going to come for them. And if you're standing right next to them, it's going to come for you too. And this person really wants to protect you. So, wow, guys, holy Toledo. All of these reads are coming out really fast and furious. But, you know, Two of Cups, it's real. It's real. All right, so last but not least, we've got the Slow Tarot by Lacey Bryant. And this is a really beautiful card. If you have tattoos, if you watch the intro, the tattoos, this is really beautiful. I was saying in the intro, I thought this was a dress, but it turns out it's a sleeveless dress, and she's got sleeves of tattoos, and so does the guy. So I think this is a gorgeous card. I always have a little bit of an audition for all the different cards, but this was really beautiful. So deck number 3, the Slow Tarot. How does the Two of Cups manifest in your life? Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Cool. Okay, future, please. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take all 3 of these here. Wow. Oh my gosh. And the World. Ooh. Oh my gosh. All of these reads are coming out crazy powerful, guys. It's no joke. Okay, Romance Angels, please. And hold on a second. Oh. Dang. I had just had about 6 cards, which is the number of the Lovers, totally fly across the floor. Hold on. Calling in your soulmate. There we go. Okay, I'm trying not to roll over these cards. This deck is out of print. I'm trying not to roll over it with my chair, which I just did. That's okay. Oh, the cards are mine. All right, officially, I've christened them. I've rolled over them with my chair. Okay, so your messages from your Divine Masculine. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm getting such a clear message. Okay, you got... Oh my god. We're taking all 4. Oh, goodness. Alright, seriously, this whole read, and it is going long, I don't care, it's the Two of Cups. Go big or go home. Holy Toledo, guys. This is so clear. And I'm so excited for you. This is awesome. First off, the fact that you both have tattoos, and there's a lot of white and red. You know, she's holding up a white cup, he's holding up a red cup. She's wearing red, he's wearing white. And there's all these beautiful white roses, which means like the start of something, a pure and innocent connection. So, first off, in the past, we've got the Hierophant. So in the Hierophant, this is a really beautiful card. There's a lot of doves of peace, and there's a Hierophant here. The other thing is that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 4 major arcanas. This is a very, very deep connection. You know this person. I just like all 3 decks, this person is a candidate for some long-term. This could be marriage, guys. This could seriously be marriage. And I try not to give anybody false hope or to try to, you know, blow sunshine. That's not how I roll here on my channel. But what I'm seeing here too is when you look at these 2 people, they look, what I notice is that they look like they're from different backgrounds, but they have similar interests. Like they both have tattoos, and just like the yin and yang symbol, he's wearing white, but she's holding a white teacup. She's wearing red, but he's holding a red teacup. There's a little bit of her and him, and a little bit of him and her. They complement each other. Their differences counterbalance one another, and it keeps them in this like rotation. It keeps them in this beautiful circular balance. And what I'm seeing is in the past with the Hierophant, I see that there might have been some religious considerations. What I'm seeing is I'm honestly getting a strong sense that in what I'm kind of feeling, and I'm reading this intuitively, is that in the past maybe you weren't meeting someone, like you were really like thinking, okay, I'm never going to find anyone, because maybe you were dating people who were of your same faith or your same ethnic background, and you weren't really having a whole lot of luck. It's not that you weren't meeting good people, but it was just that I do get a sense that you have a little bit of a specific religious background. Maybe you're of a certain faith, or maybe your family upbringing has you kind of, you have certain restrictions on what you can, because you see this, if you were raised Catholic and if you decide to fall in love and get married, someone would have to understand your Catholic faith. That's a big freaking deal. So maybe you either have religious or family beliefs that really kind of made it a narrow funnel. The other thing that I get is that you're really strong in your beliefs. You respect them. You have they're a core of what of your being, right? And it's not, I think it's important to have someone who understands what you believe and be respectful of that, either for your family's sake or for yours or for both. And that's the thing about the Two of Cups, is because, again, it's that equal give and take. It's someone who understands where you're coming from. I think that you've met somebody who understands. This person might be of a different ethnic background, but they understand your ethnic background and how it's important. I've definitely had friends, and I don't mean this in a crazy way, but I've had friends, I can only date someone who is of my ethnic background. My parents will disown me if I date anyone who is not, who is not Korean, who is not Catholic, who is not, Baptist, whatever you believe, right? But what I'm seeing here is that I do get a sense that and again, you can be a man or a woman watching this. I'm kind of getting a feeling like you're a woman watching this, and you have someone who you've met someone who has a certain religious background that they have to adhere to. The fact that they kind of have tattoos here, they connect with you, but they do have to, they have to respect where they're coming from. And I think you understand that. You're willing, it's funny, if you've ever read the biography of J.R.R. Tolkien, his wife was of a different religious background, and she converted to Catholic, to being Catholic to be with him. But then she later reverted back to her religion because it was important to her. So, they talk about this when you're dating, when you go on the dating sites, because sometimes it can be a very big deal breaker, the way that you discipline children, the way that your religious beliefs, your love language, the way that you spend money. All of these things are really, really big, and they're important. So here with the Hierophant, I'm almost getting, the other thing I kind of get is that maybe one or the other of you had some kind of mentor in your life that really instilled a lot of morals in you. And, in order for you to move forward in love, it's like you have to check those kind of boxes. But I do get a strong sense. I feel like, and a lot of the watchers of these videos are feminine. You can be a guy watching this. I'm not, assign the gender roles as they fit. But I do get kind of a feeling like you are the woman, and this person kind of came from has a religious background that they need to adhere to. But what I'm seeing here is that this person really felt it. You met someone that just feels like your other half. And this person wants to make you their Queen of Coins, their Queen of Pentacles. The other thing that I get is that I sense that this person, that you have a lot of self-worth, like you know your value. The other thing that I kind of get is that maybe you have kind of your own money. Like, this isn't, I feel, I'm kind of getting two vibes with this. I get a sense that this person wants to make you their Queen of Pentacles, and they're ready to go. Like, they see you, like, it's almost like they met you and they know that, you're the one. And it's like from sheer willpower, they want to make you, their queen. The other thing that I kind of get from this is that, the am getting kind of a little bit of a destiny kind of vibe here. I just think that I think that you're very practical, and I think you're very reliable, you're very solid. The other thing that I get is that the Queen of Pentacles, she's very traditional. So I get the sense that I keep hearing you like a rock. You're this person's rock. Like they can come to you and explain, okay, well, we would need to get married in a Catholic church, or we would need to do things this way. And you would understand because you understand tradition. Right? The other thing is that this person is excited because I think in the past that they might have felt real restricted, not in a bad way, but when you have certain, again, you have to check the boxes. If you go on a first date and someone doesn't check that box, then it's just like, it feels like a million false starts. But, but this person feels like they're actually, the other thing that I kind of get is with the Chariot, it's usually two sphinxes, that the Chariot, through willpower, the two sides are coming together. I think that this person, you might be of a different background from them, but they can make it work because they see your value and they know what. The other thing is that you're steady, like the other thing I get is that you could weather the changes, right? Like you would be reliable. You would be able to, if there were adjustments that need to be made, you would do it in a very steady and forthright manner. And also you see how she has this pentacle behind her and she's got like open arms. I think they know that you would handle things in a real practical way. The other thing that I get is that I don't think that you're frivolous with money. I think that you would be very understanding if it took, budgeting. The other thing is that I think you're very considerate. The thing about the Queen of Pentacles is she's considerate in a practical way. She understands the little necessities of every day, the little things that you'd have to do. So maybe if you've never gone to church on Sunday before, but your husband goes to church every Sunday, to adhere to his faith, you would say, okay, honey, if that's what you need, I will do that for you. So it's this understanding. But I do see the Chariot. First off, I see it as like full speed ahead. This person wants this with you. They want to make it work. The other thing that I see is that they would make it work because they see the value of you. You are a rock, like you are someone really reliable, and they want to go for that. They want to go for that. I don't think that they have to give up their religion, but I do think that it's going to be a balance. Again, the Chariot is about, two opposing forces through sense of will, but you're up to the task because you're a queen and you're practical. And the other thing is I see that you're very giving. I think you're very generous. I think you would understand. The other thing I get is that I think you would understand, again, I think I'm getting a sense of tradition because you look at the pillars, you see how I'm just drawn to the throne, the way the throne looks kind of angular and this throne looks kind of angular. It's like, I think that you would, even if you're not of the same background, you would be able to adapt to it without sacrificing yourself to it. Now, the future, I'm getting a strong different backgrounds, but they want you though. They want to make it work. Now the future is really interesting. You've got the Page of Swords in the reverse, and you've got the Six of Swords in the reverse. And the root is strength, which is another major, and you got the Moon. This person really, 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 really wants this with you. They really, really want it with you, but they feel lost. They feel lost. They don't know what to do. They're trying to follow their heart. The other thing they get is you've got strength here. So I think this person is trying to be strong. I think they're holding back. The other thing is I get that I think that they could start going down this path with you with a single text. All they have to do is reach out to you, send you a message, carrier pigeon, email. They could send you a carrier pigeon and they could go from choppy waters to smooth waters with you, but these are in reverse. So it means that they're not going to do it. In the future, they're not going to do it. They're holding back from doing it because they're not sure. They're not sure. I think they're afraid that it might not work. The other thing is that the Hierophant is coming across very strong here. It's almost like, I've said before, I think I said it in the Jane Austen reading, I do get a little bit of a Meghan Markle, Prince Harry kind of thing. I think if they bring you into their world, it's going to be a very hard transition, especially, you know, it's almost like you'd have to put up with a lot. I think you're strong enough to do it. I think this person knows that you're strong enough to do it. The other thing is that you've been there for this person. You have been a rock. I keep hearing you're my rock. You have been a rock for this person, and they really want that in their life. They want that in their life, and they're willing to go full speed ahead. I think they want to put the willpower behind it. Right now, in the future, they're not going to take any action. They're holding back, and it's not because they don't want it. The other thing, they want this. It's like they're holding their lion in. They really want this, but they're not sure if it's the right move. And I'm almost getting, because they don't want to pull you, because she's wearing red and Strength is wearing red. I think they're afraid. They're not sure if it's the right move to bring someone into their world. The other thing that I get is that I think that they know that you're strong enough to do it, but until they feel like they have a clear course of action, because, you know, the moon is murky. You know, the other thing that I'm kind of getting is that I'm getting facilitating emotions. They feel such a strong pull towards you, but they're holding back. They're holding back because they're not sure. It's almost like 1 minute they're like, no, I know I love this person. Just go. Let's do it. Let's send. You know what I'm also getting is they type out the text and then they delete it. They delete it. They type out the text and then they delete it letter by letter. What? Oh my God. This person loves you. This person feels, it's Two of Cups. They know that you are equals. They know that you can handle it. And not, I don't mean this in a literal way. They're afraid to pull the trigger. They're not sure. They're lost in their emotions. They feel so much for you, but they are so guided and dictated by what they're expected to do. Now, the other thing is that the Queen of Coins, maybe they are also afraid that if they do reach out to you, they know that it will lead to something else. Because this is the white flowers is the beginning, but it's the beginning of something that could definitely end in marriage. And the other thing that I kind of get is maybe they feel like you have more money than they do. They really do want to move forward because they feel like you're so reliable, but the messages here, you know, the messages from the Divine Masculine, and again, these are the cards, like if you could hear their thoughts, what would they say? You deserve the best, and that is definitely, I'm feeling a strong next to the Queen of Pentacles. It's like they want to be able to support you. That's the other thing, is that they don't want you to give up any of your lifestyle. The other thing that we got here is we got, what will they think? This is true love, and let me be your king. And let me be your king is in green, which is heart chakra. This is true love. Yeah, no kidding. What will they think? And look at the burgundies in this, guys. And let me be your king. Maybe the other thing is that the Hierophant doesn't necessarily have to be religious. Maybe this is their social group. It can be work or some kind of some type of status quo that they would have to answer to. But they want to be your king. The other thing is, this is the Queen, and it's let me be your king. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh. This person wants to be enough for you. They're afraid, and look at that face. Look at how soft this person's face. It's like, oh my God, I am head over heels in love with this person. She's reliable, she's giving, she's generous, she's thoughtful. She's got her own money. How do I bring her into my world? How do I make her mine? How do I make this work? Because I don't care what opposing forces. And this is like Hercules. He wants to be your king. He wants to be your king. This is true love. But the thing is, I think they're afraid of something. There's something that they're going to have to justify. Maybe you are of different maybe you're of different social economic status. Maybe you make different money. Maybe it is a religious difference, or, you know, or ethnicity difference. This person, as they move forward, they are really torn. They really, really love you. They're holding themselves back. This strength is like a needs versus wants kind of thing. It's almost like they're saying, well, I want this person. No, you need this person. You need and want this person. And they want to, the other thing is they want to move to calmer waters. It's almost like they want to send you that text message. The other thing I kind of get is that they want to get away with you. It's almost like, I don't know where this is coming from. It's almost like if they do this, the first step that they want is they want to get away with you. And I'm seeing the ocean. It's like, do they want to take you to the beach? It's kind of cold right now, but it's almost like they want to be secluded with you. The other thing is that you see this, they're like in a garden of roses. It's like no one else is around. I am almost getting a sense like they are really tempted. I'm seeing someone typing the message and then deleting the message, and it's almost like they're doing it very meticulously, like letter by letter. Either that or they're agonizing over what to say. But it's needs versus wants. There's a lot of duality here. Actually, there's duality in all three of these cards, because the Chariot is like the two Sphinx, the two horses, and then you got the wolf and the domesticated dog, and then you have the lion and the virgin. This person is vacillating. They keep teeter-tottering back and forth. But don't let them going back and forth make you think that they don't care. They most definitely care. They're typing out the message. I think this is almost just a timing thing, because it is going to be, the other thing that I kind of get is it's almost like a declaration. It's like saying, okay, king and queen. Okay, when do I announce that we're king and queen? And this is true love. The other thing is, what would they think? You know, I think they care about the opinions of their group, or of there's some kind of, it might bring some censure, but the thing is, you're a good person. You're a good, thoughtful, reliable person. And the other thing is, you deserve the best. They don't want to shortchange you, you know, if they do go forward. Now, your romance angels, and oh, hello guys, this is great. Very soon, and this flipped. There 5 other cards hit the floor, but this one flipped over. Clearly decide what you want, so it comes to you now. Oh my God. Clearly decide what you want. So if this is you deciding on another person, energy follows thought. You typing up that message and deleting it, there's intention behind it. You want to give this person the best. They are concerned about they're concerned about gossip or what people will say, either in their family and in their social group, or maybe at work. But I can say, this woman, if you are the person watching and you're the woman, or if you're the man watching and this is your love, this woman is a classy dame. Sorry, she's one classy broad, and she's got her own money. She's very thoughtful. She looks to the little needs of everyone else. If you have a certain tradition that you have to uphold or adhere to, she would understand, and she would do her best to adapt. I think you are worried about providing for her, but you want to be her king, and this is true love, and that's really freaking beautiful. Now, I do see in the future this person's going to hold off a little bit, but it's because they're trying to clearly decide. They're trying to make a very clear decision. They don't want to be in moon energy, but when they're ready, they're going to let that beast out and tell you what they really feel. Whoa, guys. Oh, and goodness. Wow. Can I say again? Wow. Gosh, guys, that was an emotional roller coaster. I'm glad. I'm kind of glad we don't have 4 piles, because I don't think I would have lived. It's not a bad thing, but oh my gosh, thank you for letting me read your cards, because I definitely felt the love with that. Oh my gosh, and goodness, my romance decks always. You know, if you watch my channel, and please, if you are so inclined, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help my channel, and I'm so grateful. So this week we're posting a lot of extra videos in honor of reaching 100 subscribers. And I thank you so much for joining me today. It was really an honor to read your cards, because look at that, guys. This made my day. It was very energy intensive, but oh, the love, the feels. Gosh, guys. So I hope you enjoyed, and thank you so much for joining me. If you would like to join me again, let me see, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Wednesday. We have a bunch of new content, extra content this week in celebration of 100 subscribers. On Sunday, I did a deck review of the Tarot, the Divine. Yesterday I did a special post in honor of National Playing Cards Day. I showed you my playing and game card collection, so if you feel inclined, check that out. And then otherwise, I hope that you have a wonderful New Year's Day. You know, please join me on New Year's Day. We'll be posting the next 7 days the card reading for the weekly energy card reading, where we do a general read that talks about the energies for next week. So I hope to catch you then, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.